And this ball's drilled deep left field. Gone!
Day baseball in Minneapolis and downtown in the Twin Cities. Take a ride with us to Target Field as the Sox try to get a series victory against the Minnesota Twins. Sox still leading the AL Central, and they will turn to Lucas Giolito today on the hill. And he'll face the 34-year-old veteran, formerly of the Angels, Matt Shoemaker. That is your pitching matchup today. And we thank you for joining us once again. Jason Benetti, Steve Stone along with you. Sox lost in a heartbreaker last night. Twins came back with Miguel Sano. But the opening day starter, Lucas Giolito, on the hill.
Sox want to win this series, and they turn to Lucas. Now, historically, Lucas has had some problems with the Twins. He's under 500. His ERA is up over 5. However, most of those numbers were accomplished earlier in his career. Lately, he's throwing very well against him, and hopefully the same can be said today. If it is, they'll go to New York with a positive attitude, and we're hoping that happens.
That would be the idea. We will see what the Sox can do with Lucas on the mound. Coming up, some key matchups we'll tell you about between the Sox ace and the Minnesota Twins. Wait, it's just one, because he hit 3 homers last night. Giolito versus Sano after this. Display in this series, and some good glove from Leury Garcia last night. As we told you about Lucas Giolito just a moment ago, and he's going to face Miguel Sano, a guy who's heating up right now with 3 home runs last night. How do you get him out through StatCast presented by Google Cloud?
I think you pitch around him if the game is on the line, but in lieu of that, you get him to chase. And this is one strong character. Did 22 home runs against our Sox, the most of any team, because we've seen him more than any other team. The scary part is he's starting to heat it up now, and with a batting average that's down, you only worry about his power, which is aplenty.
So, as I mentioned, StatCast presented by Google Cloud. Here are the hits that he has against Lucas Giolito. 3 in the zone, 2 out of the zone away, and here's where they went. But we also want to show you how Lucas has gotten him out. It's quite a bit of changeup slider out of the zone, Steve.
Well, I think you have to get him to expand that zone, and hopefully he will be over anxious after hitting 3 yesterday. I mean, this is a guy who struggled all year long, suddenly starting to come out of it. And I believe, along with Cruz, as Cruz and Sano go, so go the Twins. If they're hitting, the Twins are hitting and they're scoring, and if they're scoring, they're winning. But the Sox want to put an end to that today.
Sox have done well in this run against Minnesota and Kansas City, and before the Big Apple, the Sox will try to add one more win to the total. First pitch is next. Mattress Firm, and the big story is the White Sox bats. The home run total is growing to be maybe the largest in a series this year. And the season high already was 6 against the Twins just last week. So, Danny Mendick, grand slam. Jake Lamb had the early home run yesterday. Yasmani Grandal parked one as well. 5 homers this series, and that's a good sign for a White Sox team that had been rather power hungry for the first month and change, even with the great 40-game start at 25-15. That's become 25-16 after last night.
It's also a good sign that they're doing it in a park that's not exactly conducive for hitting home runs. They're going to another one, Yankee Stadium, after this. But we know our ballpark is a park, excuse me.
It's a ballpark where home runs get hit.
It's built on power, and if you allow teams to come in with more power than you have, you're not going to be able to take advantage of the home field. So hopefully, this will not be just a short trend. This will be a trend moving forward, especially after Abreu gets back in this lineup.
6th year together, we're literally finishing each other's sentences. Time now for the Insure on the Spot starting lineup. Get your free auto insurance quote and save in just 2 minutes at insureonthespot.com. Career games played. It's a relatively young team in terms of amount of games at spots for the Sox, including Mercedes with 38 under his belt. Leury Garcia suddenly is becoming the graybeard at 5'13".
Pretty amazing he's been around as long as he has, and he plays a lot of different positions in center field today.
That is your lineup for the White Sox, and Tim Anderson is going to lead it off after he had his hit streak broken yesterday. It was a 12-game hit streak before his 0 for 5 yesterday. He'll be at the top of the card, and Jose Abreu still out of the lineup. Tony La Russa said earlier today that his hope would be New York, and Friday that Abreu would be back in the lineup. That's not a guarantee yet, as Tony said. because we're sitting here in Minnesota on Wednesday.
Well, you have tomorrow off, and so hopefully another 48 hours or so, and he'll be ready to go. He means a whole lot, quite obviously, to this lineup. Here's our UI Health defense, and this is how Rocco Baldelli, who hopes to make 9 innings today, this is how he puts them out there with Larnach, Kepler, and Garlick in the outfield left to right, Astudillo, Polanco, Arise, and Sano in the infield. Rortvedt behind the plate, Matt Shoemaker on the hill, and the Twins are probably wondering about Shoemaker, how long can he go this year? He's on for his 8th start, his ERA, a very robust 6.62, and I say how long he's going to go this year because in the last 4 years, which covers a long time in this game, the most innings he's ever had in a season was 77. So the last couple of years, he threw 57 innings combined. And that's what he will throw. He's got to throw everything. He doesn't have anything that's overpowering, so the slider, the splitter, and the four-seamer all around the same amount of use. The sinker, which most guys are going away from, is a little over 12%, and the curveball is truly negligible.
So Shoemaker will face Anderson, then Eaton, and Moncada. And for Shoemaker, it's been the secondary stuff that's really gotten him through this year. Opponents are hitting .348 against his four-seamer, .333 against his sinker. So the fastballs, which he throws a combined 41% of the time, have gotten knocked around some.
He spent his entire career in the American League. He was with the Angels. We remember him there. He burst on the scene, and you know, they thought he was going to be something special. 16-4 in 2014, his ERA just over 3. What's happened to him of recent vintage is he's had a lot of problems staying healthy. When he is healthy, he's pretty good. He's almost, without exception, been a starting pitcher, and the Sox will look to jump on him early. Last night's game, very disappointing, but the Sox turn the page. They move ahead to today and realize you win here, you win the series, which is something you want to do against, especially your division foes.
Shoemaker to Anderson. Off we go. Day baseball. Strike one to TA. First inning is presented by Toyota. We may play, because it's a noon start, we may play Is It Lunch today.
Well, I think that would be a wonderful game to play.
Where you send pictures of what you're eating and we tell you whether or not it's lunch. Hashtag Is It Lunch? Sweeping the nation, or at least certain kitchenettes around the Chicagoland area. Shoemaker's got a high-quality baseball beard.
I think it's a quality beard indeed.
There's that splitter, and we'll see if it stays up on him at points in the game. That would be a good sign.
If it does, those go out of the ballpark. A hanging splitter might be the most dangerous of all pitches because it comes in and really does nothing. There's very little spin on it, almost no spin, and just hangs there like a piñata.
1-2. That's a slider, and it's bounced to third. Astudillo in for Donaldson, who gets the day game off today, and we have our first out of a scheduled 54 in today's ball game. So Shoemaker, an undrafted free agent signee of the Angels back in 2008. And then eventually he made his way, as you were talking about, through his career from the Angels to Toronto as a free agent before the 2019 season. And now Minnesota starved for starting pitching with Jake Odorizzi leaving and some changes in that rotation. Shoemaker signed with Minnesota in mid-February this year as Adam Eaton sends a ball to right, and Kyle Garlick, who makes the catch for out number 2. Time now for the Home Depot getting more done. It's Yoan Moncada, his last 8 games. The slugging percentage at .560, and he has hit the ball quite hard at an average of 93.
Well, he's trying to buck a trend because the disparity between his performance in night games and day games is stark. Day games, he's had some problems. This is a quick turnaround, but hopefully today, because of the added pressure on him and because he has responded to it with Abreu out of the lineup, let's hope he has a big day. If he does, the offense will have a good day.
Moncada takes a ball inside from Shoemaker. It's a good sign that the home run power is starting to build for the Sox with the 5-2 games in this series, and it would be nice to see that continue as That's outside. It's 2-0 as the plate umpire today is Chad Whitson.
Shoemaker's fastball today doesn't have a lot of sink, which means if you do hit it, you're most likely going to hit it in the air if it's a fastball, and that bodes well for the boys.
2-1. The Sox have seen the most pitches per first inning of any team in Major League Baseball. So it's rare to see 2 out with 8 pitches this season.
Well, it's also a radical departure from what this team used to be like. They would go up there and attack everything very early. Now they're much more patient. And as you can see, leading the pack is a strange place to be for a White Sox lineup.
That sets the stage for early departures for pitchers, early traffic on the mound and on the base path, as it's 3 balls and 2 strikes to Moncada. When you have a rough first inning, what does that do to a pitcher?
Well, number one, it takes away some of the pitches that you've got later on. And you'd love to see any starting pitcher go to the well in the first inning, which limits how much he's going to have as he moves to the 5th inning.
3-2. Outside, ball 4. And a base runner here in the first. Yoan Moncada continues to walk. He's got a walk in 7 straight games now.
Yeah, I think it's magnificent how he's transformed his game. You're talking about a guy that at times has gone up, been very aggressive. And, you know, if you're selectively aggressive, you're going to be a pretty good hitter. But he's willing to take a walk, which puts a guy with good speed on and also increases the pitch count for Shoemaker. Also brings Mercedes up. He's had a good series swing in the bat.
He's had an eventful series, that's for sure.
He has had one of those.
One strike on Mercedes, who's 5 for 10 in the series.
Pretty good numbers for your mean Mercedes, and this is inaugural Major League season.
There's a splitter, 2 strikes on Mercedes. A lot of people are playing Is It Lunch already. Hashtag Is It Lunch. Somebody asked if we can play hashtag Is It Breakfast for those on the West Coast. Nope, you have to play Is It Lunch, sorry. We've not sanctioned Is It Breakfast yet through the home office.
And I don't consider marshmallows lunch.
Yeah, that
just a thought.
We'll show some of them in a little while. There are some definite not lunches going on. Inside and down, a ball and 2 strikes on your mean Mercedes.
We had a big base hit last night. He came in the 9th inning, and he really battled. It was a great at bat. He took it to right field. There was only 1 out at the time, but unfortunately nothing came of it.
Man, he is so good at spoiling pitches that he has no business putting a bat on.
Well, I think it all has to do with the fact that he's not using a leg kick at all, and he's pretty much in defensive mode. His entire goal is to stay alive. Make the pitcher throw enough pitches to where he finally makes a mistake, and when he does, he's able to jump on it.
It's my entire goal every day, by the way. Stay alive.
I like that. Fastball's coming, by the way.
Maybe that's good news. Oh my gosh.
Well, that's one of the things he's been able to do. I'm not sure quite how he gets a bat on the ball, but he's able to take inside pitches and somehow foul them off. Take a look at this one. Almost hits him in the ankle, and he's able to keep the at bat alive.
That's a pretty good pitch.
Yeah. It's a good pitch from a pitcher's standpoint where you want a guy to swing at it.
That's what I'm saying.
You don't expect him to foul that off, however.
Yeah, that's when you throw it and you think that's strike 3, right? 1-2. Mercedes chops it to shortstop and Polanco. Mercedes hustling down the line. One left on for the Sox. We'll go bottom one. Lucas coming out. Day. We have a bounce in our step today. This is great. Time now for the Insure on the Spot starting lineup. Get your free auto insurance quote and save in just 2 minutes at insureonthespot.com. Career games played, 6th most active in Major League Baseball. Nelson Cruz, 1781, and the rest of the lineup combined barely gets to that number.
And still productive after all these years is Lucas Giolito. Going to the hill for his 9th start, his ERA up close to 5. You can see for him, it's not been the kind of start that he wanted. Hopefully today he has a good feel for the slider. I think that's been one of the keys to his performance recently. He can establish that. It gives him a third pitch. Kepler's hit 3 home runs against him. Sano's hit a home run but hasn't done much at 5 for 24. Nelson Cruz, who hits everybody, has hit him with 3 home runs, and he's hitting just over 333.
Good quick math by you right there.
How about that?
Lucas to Arise, and a first pitch fastball is wayward. Zach Collins catching Giolito today.
Another thing that Lucas has had problems with at times is location of that fastball, because everything works off that.
2-0 on 2 fastballs upstairs.
And you don't want to get to the point where you walk the leadoff man, because then you're dealing with Polanco, who ended the game last night, Cruz, who ends a lot of games, and Kepler, who is struggling, but he looks like he's about ready to start swinging the bat well.
Change up away, 3 balls, no strikes. Arise swinging 3-0 here. It's been a topic of conversation at points in this series.
Yes, he is not going to do that. Because I think if he swings 3-0 here ahead of the rest of these hitters, Rocco Baldelli will hit him.
Oh. Now you're just stirring the pot.
Oh, no. I just don't think that situation called for a 3-0 green light. And Arise is going to hit the ball. The question is, will he hit it at somebody? Because he's a great contact hitter.
Down for ball 4, and Polanco will bat with a runner on. All right, time for Guaranteed Rates Believe in Lucas Giolito. This was wild when we looked it up. Since 2019, here are all of the Minnesota Twins who have a hit against Lucas's changeup in the last 2 years plus. Cruz 2, Eddie Rosario is gone, Jonathan Scope is gone, and Arise has 1. That's it. 6 hits since 2019 against Giolito's changeup for Minnesota.
And he's also thrown a whole lot against him, so that's a good sign.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. Well, it's been that good.
That one's high, ball 1, and not a good sign. 6 pitches, 5 out of the zone for Lucas so far.
Took us a while to see Minnesota. Now we see him in 2 different series, and Polanco is really starting to swing it.
Check swinging a foul. 1 ball, 1 strike.
That's one of those when you're struggling with your control early. You'd love to see that one trickle out in front of home plate in fair territory. It didn't do it.
And have the runner at first freeze, right?
That'd be nice, yes.
We're just here creating double play scenarios for you. Lovely target field on a cloudy day with rain coming in later. A little half swing poke down the right field side and just foul.
Let's take a look at the UI Health defense. And this is how Tony La Russa is going to put them out there on what will be a moist afternoon. It's Jake, Liuri, and Adam in the outfield with Yohan, Tim, Danny, and Andrew in the infield. Zach Collins has got the plate. Lucas Giolito on the hill. Well, there's been a couple of strikes in this at-bat, and Polanco hasn't really swung at either of them. It's almost 2 check swings. That one almost turned into gold for him. He's going to see if he can hit with a slider here.
Arise at first. There it is, and that was a brilliant slider. Tight slider for strike 3 on Polanco.
That's probably going to give Lucas some confidence, because that's a pitch he's had some trouble with, and it's a good sign that he was able to bury the slider ahead of the hitter and get the strikeout. This is a big out in this inning because Polanco has been swinging it well, but not this time, and a nice pick by Zach Collins. So now you're a double play ground ball away from getting out of it, and you got just the man up to hit the ball on the ground.
It is Nelson Cruz. And a fastball for a strike. Now, Ethan Katz mentioned to me before Lucas's last start that Lucas had been working very heavily on that slider in his side sessions before that start, and maybe we'll see the fruits of that labor today, as there's one to make it 1 ball, 1 strike.
I like the fact that he's not hesitant to throw it. He's trying to establish it, and if you're going to miss, that's where you want to miss. You want to miss low and away. You don't want to miss up and out over the plate.
Change up past him at shortstop. Base hit for Cruz, 2 on for Kepler.
That one was not hit hard, it was just hit in the perfect spot.
So now Kepler, who does not hit very many ground balls, takes a change that's high. 4 batters, 3 first pitches out of the zone for Giolito so far today.
Kepler is one of the keys to this offense. If he starts to heat it up, and he's going to hit between Cruz and Sano against the right-handers, then they've really got something going. That got a piece of Zach on the way by. That was a good chain.
Arise at second, Cruz at first. Into right center and playable for Garcia into the alleyway. Arise did not tag from second and 2 down, as time now for a player profile presented by Geico. Make it easy. Lucas Giolito throws more changeups than anybody in Major League Baseball at this point of the year.
He leans on it. He likes it. When it's good, he's a tough customer to beat. You know, you really have nothing to lose by tagging up on that play, only because if it gets by Liuri, you're going to walk home. That's number one. Number two, if you're on third with a wild pitch or pass ball, you get to score. Not so from second. Also, on a misplay in the infield, you get to score.
I was shocked to see Arise at second base, but the Sox will take it, and now here is the Snidely whiplash of yesterday's game. Miguel Sano with his 3 home runs to double his season total.
Well, he also sprayed it around. He hit 1 to left, 1 to dead center, and 1 to right. You don't see that too often, but he is so enormously strong that when he does get just about any part of the bat on it, it'll go.
That was a slider in the zone and not a good one. 2 strikes on Sano.
So last night, that's a hanging slider, a hanging cutter, and it went. This one was a bomb. Lance Newt was gone when it left the bat. All the pitcher has to do is hear it, and he knows, and this is a line drive rocket to right center field. That tied it up.
Oh, and 2 for Sano, and a high fastball is up. You go fastball slider here.
I actually would like to see another fastball up, and I would prefer it up and on the inner portion. It's one thing to lay off the 0-2 pitch. It's another thing in the same area to lay off it again. Let's see what Lucas decides.
It was the slider. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
It's really interesting. You can tell when a guy is starting to feel good about his offense is when he takes pitches well. That's really the key to understanding if a guy is hitterish, as they say. You watch him take pitches. If they keep their hands back, if they don't stride early, you know they're seeing the ball all the way and they're just about ready to heat it up. Now, he hasn't really attempted to, but they haven't been all that close. And when Lucas gets him out, he gets him out expanding his zone.
Changeup fluttered in there for strike 3. Wonderful pitch by Giolito to end the first, scoreless. Menards. That's a lunch for sure.
Well, that definitely is lunch, but I will say I'll go out on the line. Tim Moriarty.
Yeah.
Whipped cream and peanuts is not lunch.
No, that's definitely not lunch.
We're gonna go. Yeah, we're gonna say that is not lunch.
We're gonna show you some is it lunch submissions in a little while as the Sox try to take the lead here in the second inning. Darkening skies at Target Field. Rain's not supposed to be there until later in the day.
You'd love to be able to get a good lead, get through 5, and then you can worry about Mother Nature later. Little overcast, some billowy clouds.
A strike on a high splitter. They're billowy, huh?
They're billowy. High splitters do have a tendency to go a long way, and so far, Shoemaker doesn't have a good splitter. We're going to see another one here, though. That was a better one.
Sharp drop.
Yep. .85 is actually a good velocity for that splitter. Bruce Sutter went to the Hall of Fame, and his splitter was anywhere from 85 to 87. Only he didn't miss with it too often.
A lot of discussion over whether or not the splitter causes arm trouble. Some pitchers say yes, some say no.
I think at the higher velocities, my feeling is it put a lot of strain on my arm, but some guys throw it for a long time, and they seem fine with it. But I also have seen an entire pitching staff dissolve in San Francisco under Roger Craig because all through the split finger or splitter.
Left side, Astudillo bails. And Larnach makes the catch. 1 out. All right, time to tell you whether or not you're eating lunch. Hashtag is it lunch? That
not
is what
lunch.
You're talking about.
Yeah,
not
that's
lunch.
that's not lunch.
This, ooh, that's lunch for sure. Good Chicago dog. What is that? Cacio e pepe? That's lunch, right?
Well, I can see the occasional pepper flake, yes.
What's that?
It could be sardines.
Now that, from Keith, is definitely lunch.
Yes. Heartburn on a tray.
Thank you all for playing. Hashtag is it lunch? So now you know whether or not what you're eating is lunch. As a public service. Andrew Vaughn takes ball 2 from Shoemaker.
This is where Andrew has to really take advantage of the count, and he will consistently do this as he moves along a little bit. But this is an ideal situation to just look for a fastball and try to hit it a long way.
Little tapper. Shoemaker floats it to first, and Sano does take the bag. 2 out. Today's Jimmy John's Freaky Fresh Take, it is lunch, is the run differential leaders in Major League Baseball, and the Sox are still running away in run differential. Plus 72, the Dodgers have snuck in there in the second spot.
Astros are starting to play a whole lot better, and the Padres and the Blue Jays.
Blue Jays are scary now. They're 23 and 17. They have a world of young talent.
They've got some really good young hitters, and if they get the pitching they think they've got, they're going to be very tough to deal with in the East. Now, that's a very tough division. Tampa Bay is always right there, even if you count them out. The Yankees will be better, especially if Stanton comes back. He's on the IL. That does not disappoint the Sox as they move to New York after this series.
Good splitter, 1 ball, 1 strike. The Yankees have one more game in Texas as Corey Kluber is on the mound today, and then they'll have a day game tomorrow. So the Sox have the off day in New York. The Yankees do not have an off day before that series.
That's always good. Use up the bullpen.
Yeah, maybe they'll play like 17 tomorrow.
That'd be nice.
2-1. Called high. Zach caught a break there, 3-1. .34-year-old Matt Shoemaker misses upstairs, and ball 4, second walk for the Sox. Daryl Boston, some words for Zach Collins.
Leary's been swinging it pretty well, especially when right-handers have stayed away from him. He's hit the ball hard to left center field. So the batting average starting to creep up. He's driven in 16. That's pretty good. He's not going to walk too much, as that on-base percentage would indicate.
First pitch hit in the air right field. Garlick back at the track, and he's there before the overhang. For out number 3. Sox lead Collins. No score after 1.5. Baseball in our news and notes, and we'll begin with the Angels and Shohei Ohtani. He's got 3 straight games with a home run. I mean, this ball was crushed again. He does not hit many cheapies at all.
No, it's pretty amazing how strong he is, and he has a lot of speed to go with it. Spencer Turnbull. It's absolutely amazing. 5th of the year, if you don't count Bumgarner. That would be 6, and only the 8th ever for the Tigers.
Spencer Turnbull goes into Major League Baseball's history books with yet another no-hitter. And my question to you is, if we end up this season with 12 or 15 no-hitters, what happens to the rules?
You move back the mound.
You think so?
Well, after 68, when just about everybody dominated, very pitching heavy domination, they decided to lower the mound. That was the year that Gibson had a 112 in the National League. Tiant in the American League had a 160. Denny McLain, the last pitcher to win 30 or more games, that was 68. And the reaction was lower the mound, give the hitters a chance. And I think we're going to see it. They're experimenting with it now. I think it's just a matter of time until they do it. I think maybe it starts with a foot. 61.6, maybe 62, who knows. But when they do research, if they prove that pitchers will not get hurt by moving it back, I think they move it back for more contact.
It's ball 4 on 4 pitches to Larnach. All right, all the no-hitters so far in Major League Baseball. For the Mariners, they have the most of them against them at this point. They've been no-hit twice in 2 weeks at this point. The 17 White Sox, 2015 Dodgers. It's the 6th no-hitter in Seattle since 2012.
Pretty amazing.
That's wild. So 2 teams have been no-hit already this year. The Indians, obviously, Carlos Rodon, and then Miley, as the sun started to peek out in Minneapolis.
Pretty good double play situation if Lucas can induce the ground ball.
Well, he's going to make contact. For his career, he's got 7 walks and 21 strikeouts. For his career, for a couple years now. You know, it's interesting talking about possible rule changes. There was a story last couple of days about the low minor leagues where there have been rule changes about base stealing and pickoffs and things like that, and throws to first, how many you can have in an at-bat. Lucas off the mound has only 1 play, and oh boy, Vaughn has to reach for it. Lucas looks down at his hand, And there's one away with some festivities.
Lucas is shaking his head, and justifiably so. If you have a problem with throwing it overhand to first base and you're that close, throw it underhand. Out of the book of John Lester, that's a shot put. It's a good thing that Andrew was able to go out and get it, and they get the out, but not before Larnach moves into scoring position.
So I was just going to say, there is rampant base stealing in A-ball. What they have done with the rule changes in the low minors has led to a lot more base stealing, which is great news for everybody but pitchers and catchers.
Well, you can imagine. Well, imagine this after that.
All the people.
You can imagine if you have a 3-throw limit and you've just seen your third throw to first base. Imagine where that lead is going to go with no thought whatsoever that you can be picked off. But consequently, yeah, the base stealers will be running wild. Ricky Henderson would still be stealing bases. He's 100.
Well, and so it's low A where they're doing that, 2 pickoffs per plate appearance. And then all high A leagues, pitchers have to step off the rubber to attempt to pick off. So they've constrained pitchers in that way as well.
Yeah, you almost have to be looking someplace else to get picked off in that situation.
I bet someone will figure out how. High fastball to Garlick, who is 0 for 9 in the series. But
I don't know if this is still the case, but it used to be in Japan, there were no balks and the pitcher could throw from any angle. He didn't have to step toward first, because we play the Japanese teams in exhibitions, and their pitchers, they would do things. You'd look at them and go, wait a second.
Hey.
He'd throw from everywhere. He'd throw under his arm. He'd do everything. No balks.
I'm sure you love that rule.
Well, not known for my great base stealing. It didn't affect me all that much. No, we couldn't do that.
No, but I'm
they
saying
did.
if you could have instituted that, you would have.
Oh, certainly, especially for a right-hand pitcher to first base, because the classic balk move is to bend your back knee. In other words, you dip with your right knee and then go to first base, because they're taught on first move you can go if the guy doesn't come to first. And there's been some wonderful pitchers who have perfected that, where they do it so quickly that the umpires can't pick it up. But it is a balk, because if you move that back leg and don't go home, that is a balk.
Larnach at second, Garlick at the plate. The 1-2. That's a slider, cued foul.
That was a good slider. He's ahead. He throws something that certainly is tantalizing, and Garlick has to fend it off.
Great changeup. Third strikeout for Giolito, who dispenses Garlick for out number 2.
So the Sano changeup and this one to Garlick have been spectacular. That is vintage Lucas Giolito. Just an outstanding pitch in a great spot. So hopefully, if that changeup is coming back to him, he's going to be the guy that we remember. Certainly last year and the year before.
Two out, ball 1 to Rortvedt, Twins catcher, who's 4 for 23 in his precocious career. Two balls, no strikes. Yeah, the fastball command is just not the same as we saw last year from Lucas.
No, and that's one of the issues, because just about any guy with a good straight change pitches off his fastball. When you can establish you can throw your fastball both sides of the plate and up and down, it makes the change that much better.
So now 3-0 on Rortvet. Lucas has gone to 3 3-0 counts first 8 batters.
And Lucas took a walk around the mound. Right now he's fighting himself as far as location is concerned. It seems to come and go.
Called a strike. Again, the 3-0 strike zone is larger than any other strike zone. It has been for years. There's research done on this. You're going to get borderline pitches 3-0. Now 3-2. He buzzed him a fastball. Sox fans correctly guess if the Sox are going to score in the 4th, 5th, or 6th inning of today's game. And you could win a free medium hot or iced coffee from any participating Chicagoland Dunkin' location.
I would say yes. And if this is a straight change, I would say it ends the at-bat.
All you got to do is scan the QR code on the screen to play along in the MLB Ballpark app today.
That's it?
Yeah, that's it.
Ah, that's easy.
That's how you're doing. You think change? If it is, he strikes him out. Instead, he got a ground ball to first on the changeup. Lucas covers, and Andrew Vaughn pitch and catch for out number 3. Just under the wire, no score after 2. And it's just the White Sox cleaning up overall with the bases loaded. Through 41 games, 4 grand slams this year, 2 from Abreu, 1 from TA, and then Danny Mendick the other night. It's the most grand slams through 40 games for the Sox since 2008.
Hopefully they'll add to that today.
You know, it means we're going to play 163 games, I think.
Game 163 is the most tension-packed game in any year.
Especially when it's 1-0, by the way.
Yes, indeed. Shoemaker's the kind of guy that Mendick would have luck against because he's not going to overswing against him.
3rd inning brought to you by Hyundai as Danny takes outside 2 balls and a strike. What do you mean by that? Not going to overswing?
A lot of times a guy with a splitter depends on you trying to hit it 8 miles and then you hit the top of the baseball and ground it out.
To second, Arise.
Hit it well, but Arise was playing him up the middle.
One down for Tim Anderson.
Is it too early for us to mention he has a no-hitter?
Oh, I don't
Shoemaker?
think it's ever too early.
He does.
I mean, he's cobbled together 7 outs. Shoemaker?
Couple of walks? Oh, geez, yes, I know. I was trying to ignore it, but
it's not possible. To third, Astudillo. Tim's tried him twice, and La Tortuga has made the play.
that one was hit hard, and Astudillo was able to make it. Using the backhand.
Wonder how many people have played pitcher, catcher, and third base all in the same series.
He's very versatile.
Strike call to Adam Eaton. Adam thought it was low. He may have been right. La Tortuga got a little testy the other night.
He did
Didn't like
indeed.
giving up a home run.
Saw his earned run average go up.
Testy turtle. 0-1. Check swing, ball high, 1-1. There was an appeal quickly over to third. Jim Reynolds like, why are you asking me? He didn't go.
Yeah, that one wasn't a difficult call, so ask somebody else.
Chad Whitson had to yell at him twice. Jim, Jim. You got a call there? It's like, no, he didn't go. To first, Sano. Sano hits so far for the Sox. We're scoreless. The good ones come later. Ballpark at Target Field, and we want to show you at the ballpark. Hashtag postcards from Minnesota. Use it. Show us your pictures from down near the dugout area or sitting in a big old glove. Wow, that's a great view from up in the upper deck there by the left field scoreboard.
Nice backdrop.
And Pete Ward at the game. Trip from 2014 with a Minnesotan wife.
A lot of incarnations of the Sox uniform. There's the Sunday special.
Nice hat, too, while we're at it. Lucas Giolito, first pitch strike as he embarks on the second time through the Minnesota order. Luis Arraez took a 5-pitch walk in the first inning. And Lucas quickly to 2 strikes. Sox and Twins won't play for a while until July, and then that pocket of games between the Sox and Twins ends on August the 11th, and that's it for the Sox and Twins this year. There's the change. Arraez, who's very difficult to strike out, goes down quickly.
Well, I think at the last instant he thought, I've got to protect against this. This one didn't drop as he thought it was going to. It pretty much stayed up there, and he swings through it.
Yeah, that's a mystery ball to him.
Well, the advantage of being ahead 0-2 is you really put the hitter in a defensive mode, and he has a tendency to then want to protect against everything. Polanco being a switch hitter really helps, and he usually hits in a run-producing spot. We've seen him at 3, we've seen him at 4, and he's at the 2 spot here today.
Ahead 2-0, Polanco is with his All-Star game 2 years ago. He had a career-high 22 home runs that year for Minnesota. Massive shift. Change, easy for a strike, 2-1.
Well, the shift, one of the guys playing in close is Moncada at third, and the reason why he is that with Lucas throwing a lot of changeups, hitters have a tendency to top the baseball, and if he tops it to the left side, Moncada will be there to throw him out.
Fastball 2-2, so Lucas has straightened it out quickly here to Polanco.
And that fastball at 95, it does have some life to it. He's starting to throw it in the zone. So now let's see what he does with a changeup that you would think is forthcoming.
It's upstairs. 3 balls, 2 strikes. So far in this game, there's only been one hard hit baseball. It was Adam Eaton off his bat at 100 miles an hour. That ball in the first. 2 pitchers have done a good job avoiding hard contact so far. Struck him out on a changeup above the zone, and Lucas owns 5 strikeouts.
Both of these strikeouts have been on high changes. Now, obviously Lucas doesn't want to throw one out of the zone, but he's one of the few guys that can throw a high changeup as well as a low changeup. Most guys just throw a changeup, wherever it goes, it goes. But for Lucas, it's by design.
Nelson Cruz pops up a changeup. There's strike 1. That's one of those things that Lucas Giolito has talked to you about that 2 different types of changeup that he throws.
It really gives him a weapon that very few other people in the game have.
This to center is doused, and it's just over the wall and just to the left of the big wall, and Nelson Cruz has his 427th career home run.
Seems like only 400 have been hit against the Sox. As he hits his 10th, he moves 24 driven in, and he gives the Twins the lead. That was a 416-foot line drive that left the yard. We'll watch it again. It's a fastball, and it's right down the middle. Forward home run replay. It's a mistake you really can't make against Cruz, who is tough against everybody, but especially tough against Sox pitchers.
Well, he was off the fairway with that ball, but it got the job done. And here is Kepler, who goes after the first pitch and pops it up. Moncada and Anderson and Lamb, and it's Jake for round number 3. But the Twins take a 1-0 lead after 3. Learn more about our Beyond Business Friendly community at makerswanted.org. 1-0 your score. You saw Matt Shoemaker with his hat off. He is another one of the pitchers who has been hit with a line drive in his past, and Evan Marshall being one of those guys. So many pitchers have dealt with that, and you said this a couple years ago, as exit velocities increase, that danger increases for pitchers.
Well, there's a couple of different factors. One is livelier baseball, livelier bats, but there's another factor also, and that is in this max effort era, guys are throwing the ball, not Shoemaker, he doesn't fall into that, but guys are throwing the ball as hard as they can, and almost without exception, they're pulling off the mound to the opposite side. So a right-hander is going to fall off the mound to the first base side, and he's going to be rendered defenseless on anything hit back at his head. And that's one of the big problems. I mean, we haven't seen a whole lot of it yet. We've seen it a few times. But some pitchers get over it quickly, some pitchers don't. It affects all of them a different way. But we do know that if you can defend your position, it helps you in a lot of different ways, including limiting injury.
His was as severe as you're going to hear about. When Shoemaker got hit in the head, he ended up having to go under the knife for emergency brain surgery. There was bleeding on his brain, and I mean, you think about the danger there as this ball is into right field for Moncada, who's got yet another hit, and the Sox have the leadoff man on here in the 4th.
That breaks up the no-hitter, and that's a tying run, as Yuan has been up twice, been on twice. Shoemaker threw out the baseball as if to say, that's a bad ball. That one wound up in the outfield. I don't want to throw it anymore.
So now Mercedes. And to throw to first on Moncada. Sano is a big sentinel over at first base.
He's a target that's tough to miss.
They're checking with the replay room.
Yeah, to see if they want to appeal that play at first. No, Rocco, he's safe.
Now he's going to check the finish on the bench. Make sure it's all good, varnished well. Yermin Mercedes with Moncada at first. Ground ball to third. Astudillo in foul territory. Triggers out number 1. Moncada to second base. Matt Shoemaker is a Michigander. He went to Eastern Michigan, undrafted out of there. These are the war leaders for pitchers born in Michigan. John Smoltz just beating out Hal Newhouser and the great Eddie Cicotte of the White Sox, among others.
Some pretty good ones. I played with Jim Cott. I played with Milt Pappas. I didn't play with Eddie Cicotte or Hal Newhouser.
John Smoltz out of Waverly High School in Lansing, Michigan.
Not surprising that he leads in war leaders. Just a wonderful pitcher, and did something that Dennis Eckersley was able to do, but very few pitchers can do.
starter and closer. Polanco roving for out number 2. And the advancement for Moncada. Here's your Sox-Man video.
Hi, White Sox fans. It's been great being part of the White Sox community these last few years and watching the team grow into what's inevitably going to be a 2021 World Series run. I'm going to be busy bringing in the next generation of White Sox fans, and I don't know who's craving spaghetti more, me or Tim Anderson. Now back to Jason and Steve.
That is a great video right
it's
there.
A wonder. I mean, they're getting better and better. The competition is getting fierce in quality videos.
That was top notch.
Yeah.
That's got to be part of our
great production. The writing was
Yeah.
terrific. I love the second half. The ending was spectacular.
Well, it's a plot twist you didn't expect.
Nope.
There's
Plot
a
twist. Right.
Kid on the way. Number of games remaining between the Sox and Twins this year after today, and then the sum of the numbers in the year the Twins moved to Minnesota and started playing their first games in Minnesota. The year that the Twins started to be the Twins in actual gameplay. Do you know it?
Oh, sure.
Klang.
Yeah, Rortvedt boxed that one a bit, but it didn't get by him. Once again, Andrew Vaughn is ahead in the count as he was last time. Last time he was able to just top it. Let's see if this is a better result.
Tuo clipped him. That was not intentional. Nobody worry. It's a breaking ball that lost its way, and runners are at the corners.
Tried to throw it low and away. It looks like it's a slider. Catches the hip right around the belt. If you're going to get hit, that's a good spot to get hit because he's not going to even feel that one.
So Moncada at third, Vaughn at first, and Zach Collins trying to square a ball up. Oh, splitter that hung around in the strike zone. Strike one, your 2021 Chicago White Sox, presented by Guaranteed Rate. Learn how you can turn your belief in a new home into action at rate.com. If you believe, you will. Time's running out to secure a ticket package for this season. Go to whitesox.com for more information today. 60% capacity next homestand. Sox will play the first place Cardinals, then the Baltimore Orioles during that homestand before heading off to Cleveland once again.
The outfield is absolutely dead straight away. If you can pull the ball here at Target Field, it's not difficult to hit a home run.
Downstairs, 2 balls and a strike.
Shoemaker is falling behind a bit, and that usually translates into runs. Wants to throw another splitter. Maybe he hangs this one. And Rortvedt says step off.
When you say Rortvedt, it sounds like you're rewinding a tape.
It feels like it.
There's a catcher and pitcher. Shoemaker to Rortvedt. Ooh, a high splitter, 2-2.
Yeah, that usually winds up with some damage, but Zach swung through it. You have to pull down on a splitter equally as much as you do on a curveball, and that one slipped out of his hands and just came up there, stayed up without a whole lot of action on it. Another splitter.
Struck him out. First strikeout for Shoemaker. Sox trail 1-0 after 3.5.
Vinny Duber at NBCSportsChicago.com, presented by Nationwide agent Jeff Vukovich. Get to enjoy knowing the Vuk as much as you do the jingle at JeffVuk.com, because Nationwide is on your side. Much better in the day than it was at night, I believe.
Look, dayside, the pipes are fresh.
Well, funny you should mention that.
Oh, yeah?
We've got some numbers for you.
For you?
For you.
You got insurance?
Not yet, but that's coming.
Here's Sano, who was very dangerous last night with 3 home runs. And he pops this up. Andrew Vaughn roaming for out number 1. What do you got?
1 pitch, 1 out. That's good. Okay, so if it seems that the Sox have some difficulty in day games, it's only because they do. They played 26 games at night, and they've dominated. They're 18-8 at night. They played 15 games in the daytime. They're 7-8 in the daytime. And for whatever reason, I don't know if it's circadian rhythms, but this team has not responded during the daytime, at least to this point. So one way or the other, especially here today, to tie it up at 8-8 during day games, they're going to have to start scoring against Shoemaker. They should probably be starting to do that, because he's starting to make some mistakes, and we'll see how that plays out.
Which did you prefer, night or day, and why?
It really didn't matter very much, but I think normally hitters see the ball better in the daytime, although some hitters will tell you they prefer night games. I mean, really, this is personal preference, because some people just have a hard time getting it going early. For whatever reason, you know, they're day people, they're night people, whatever the case may be. But because you play many more night games in baseball than you do day games, there's guys who get used to it, and then their body clocks tell them, I've got to get it geared up as I move along. And so they gear everything for a 7 o'clock start. And it's a pattern you get into. Everybody gets into different patterns, but you really, if it's natural to do it during night games, you have to then come up with a system where you can make it happen in day games, because you're gonna play a few of them, especially early in the season. It's really important to try to win day games early in the season.
Change up fluttering through the breeze for strike 3, and 6 strikeouts for Giolito. Here's your Sox math winner. 13 more between the Sox and Twins after today. 1961, the year the Senators became the Twins. 30 is your answer. Congratulations to Joe Creedy for winning Sox math. That is not the real Joe Creedy, because he doesn't have a blue check mark.
Oh, wait a second.
Just like...
Oh, I know. This is... I've lost it. Once again, I've lost it.
You had your check mark back, and then you lost it again.
Once again, it's American tragedy.
Then you've accused me of somehow filching your check mark.
It was nefarious.
And sadly, the conversation comes to a close. 1-0. Sox will try to come back after this. 5th, and if you want to be close to the action in 2021, look no further than the Wintrust Scout Seats. Enjoy unparalleled views directly behind home plate, plus exclusive access to a private lounge with all-inclusive food and beverage. For more information, call or text 312-674-1000 or visit whitesox.com. Leury Garcia, first pitch, high, strike 1 on the breaking ball from Shoemaker, who with a lot of contact has meandered through 4 innings of scoreless baseball.
Leury hit the ball well last time, and hopefully more of the same as he can look at another splitter.
That was middle, and Garcia ropes it to right center field. Let's see where he ends up. Garcia to second base as Kepler gets it in. It's a leadoff double for Garcia, who's really started to swing a better bat the last week.
He's been hitting it real well. This is similar to the 4th inning last night. This is a splitter that stayed up, and last inning, that's what Shoemaker started to do. That's why I told you that he's making some mistakes. Let's see if the boys can take advantage of it. The 4th inning last night, Leury led off with a double, and they could not move him. At that point, they were up 4-0. That turned out to be a huge run, as 5 won the ball game for the Twins. This is one they can't afford to leave there.
So Mendick showing bunt.
That's fine as long as he bunts it to third and moves them along, but it's going to be the old slug bunt.
And then bunt again. Shoemaker.
This one placed well, even though he popped it up a bit. Shoemaker does a nice job of getting to it quickly and then making a good solid throw. So now you've got Leary at third. Now you force the infield to come in. A great situation to hit in for Tim Anderson. Astudillo is right on the line at third.
Tim's hit 2 balls to him so far today. And he takes a splitter for a strike. That splitter's hovering a little bit, Steve.
Yeah, it's staying up, and that makes it fairly hittable. The arms in the outfield aren't great. Kepler's might be the best, and he's in center field. Normally, that's reserved for your right fielder.
To shortstop, Polanco, 2 down.
Hey, White Sox fans, Xfinity Mobile delivers fast nationwide 5G on the most reliable network. Break free from the big three and save with Xfinity Mobile.
What do you make of the argument that some people might say you get a leadoff double and then you bunt, you give the pitcher confidence by giving him the first out? Some people have argued that in the past.
I don't know if you give him confidence, but I do know that there are some managers, and it's personal preference for every manager. Some managers just don't want to give away an out.
Yep.
Some of them don't mind. If it works, it looks good. If it doesn't work, not so good.
Eaton to short. Polanco's got a hustle. Save! He beat it out. Sano says he had the ball and the bag. For now, we're tied at 1, and we'll see what the Twins do with a challenge.
Well, I think he did have the ball. The question is, did he have the bag? And John Lipka, the umpire at first base, is saying that either he beat it or the foot was not on the bag. Big effort by Polanco, and a great stretch by Sano. Could very well be that the foot did come off the bag. He's safe at first anyway. Whether the foot came off the bag or not, Adam Eaton was hustling down the line. It'll go as a base hit. It'll go as a tie game. And a lot of hustle by Adam Eaton tied up the ball game.
So Garcia does score the tying run. And Yoan Moncada, who's been on twice, stands in. Heater for a strike from Shoemaker. He does not throw a lot of four-seam fastballs.
I love the fact that with Abreu's absence from the lineup, Yoan Moncada has really stepped up. He's seeing the ball well, he's taking his walks, and when he gets an opportunity in the zone, he's been hitting it hard.
Faded outside and off of the mid of Rortvedt. Only game going on in Major League Baseball right now. Sox and Twins. Everything else is later, including the Rockies and Padres in an hour and a half. Cleveland still at the Angels, playing without Mike Trout. Yoan threw a fastball, 1-2.
That's actually 3 fastballs in the at-bat, which would lead you to believe that a splitter is forthcoming. You can't really look for anything off speed, however, because then you get beaten by the fastball. The hitters will tell you, Key on the fastest pitch and adjust on down.
Foul territory, Astudillo, and a sprinting turtle will not find the ball.
ComEd offers bill credits and extended payment plans to help pay past due energy bills. Call 800 Edison 1 to see if you're eligible. It was a long run by Astudillo.
Astudillo, the first guy to play catcher, third, and pitch in just a couple of years, actually. Russell Martin did it a few years ago. Yeah, 2019. How about that?
That would be, you would get a whole lot of wrong answers on that question.
I never would have guessed it was 2 years ago. Why was Russell Martin pitching? Did anyone swing 3-0?
He needs to get a couple of innings in.
1-2. There's the splitter, as you said. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Astudillo, a handy man to have around.
I enjoy watching him hit.
I watch Arise and Astudillo and realize that they're really tough to strike out, but Lucas has been able to do that. He got Arise in the 3rd inning.
Twins got a run in the 3rd inning, so a rise and a run.
Yikes.
Yeah, it's
Do they
tough.
get better as they move along?
That's the hope, but the hope is fading fast. 2-2. Downstairs, 3-2. Johansson, again, a lot of pitches so far today.
He also is taking pitches well, hoping to keep it alive for Yermin. The advantage here is he'll be able to score Eaton on a double because he's going to take off with the pitch.
Three and two. Down, ball 4.
That's a great eye once again, and Yuan refused to expand his zone. That pitch was tantalizingly close. He'd taken his 2nd walk of the day. It's a 3rd walk for Shoemaker to go along with 1-hit batsman. Now Wes Johnson, a trip to the mound to have a conversation with Shoemaker, who has had a few more difficulties the last couple of innings.
So Mercedes is twice grounded out, once to shortstop, once to 3rd. And if he misses on one of those splitters that hangs around in the zone to Yermin, he's probably going to get beat, don't you think?
Well, right now he's got to just guard against being over anxious, but it looked to me like he's sitting waiting on something middle in. He's hit a couple of balls in this series very hard, but he's gotten out ahead of them and yanked them foul. One seemingly he hit in the 3rd level foul last night was to hit it 8 miles.
After the meeting, Shoemaker misses with ball 1.
As he keeps missing and getting behind hitters, he doesn't have that overwhelming stuff to consistently get hitters out in the strike zone.
So controlling the strike zone is important here.
Very important.
That was on the edge. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Erie made a fine play.
You've said you can put him anywhere defensively, and even while his team's batting in the dugout.
Put him in the dugout. He's still equally as good.
Shoemaker and Mercedes. He laid off the slider. 2 balls and a strike. That could be a pivotal pitch in the sequence. Polanco, high feed but playable for a rise. Sox get a run. We're tied halfway home. Pictures of what you think is lunch, and you ask us hashtag is it lunch? So Lucky Charms, are they lunch?
No, I would consider that not lunch.
Not lunch. How about that bag of crackers and a protein bar?
No way.
Not lunch. Sorry, Adam. What about, oh my gosh, is that ever lunch?
Yeah, that's lunch and dinner and maybe breakfast.
Yeah, on Halloween. Thank you, hashtag is it lunch, and how often you see it, you play is it lunch, and here's Kyle Garlick.
And he's definitely not lunch.
No, he's not. He's 0 for 10 in the series.
Let's hope that continues. And he can't make a great chicken Vesuvio without him.
Had to have been really fun to be a teenager with the name Garlic. I mean, 2 strikes on Garlic, who's played for the Dodgers, the Phillies, and the Twins. Garlic to go.
Ooh.
Oh, and 2. Slider, 1 ball, 2 strikes. What do you make of Lucas's outing so far, Steve?
I think all things considered, it's been pretty good. Cruz is the only guy that's beaten him to this point. He's also established pretty good straight change. Now we'll see if he can dot the I on the fastball in the outside corner.
Very close, missed it, 2-2.
Well, if you're going to miss with that pitch, you miss the way he did. You move it outside as opposed to missing outer third of the plate.
Two. It's a high change, and it's sprayed foul. Nice catch on the ricochet. Well done.
Got to have good mobility if you're going to be a ball person.
You teach classes in that? You're the Tom Amansky of ball people?
Yep, that first step is essential.
A little bit down, 3-2. That was not supposed to be a low fastball, I don't believe. Three and 2. Fastball, got him, pinpoint, strike 3. 1 down as we check into the studio for a preview of what's coming up on White Sox Post Game Live, presented by Subaru. Ozzie Guillen, Chuck Garfien, and who's that? Frank Thomas. Thank you, Chuck, and Ozzie and Frank. Appreciate it. Look forward to Subaru White Sox postgame live as always. Great insight, great fun. Sometimes Chuck is holding a broom and sweeping when the Sox sweep the Twins. He does prop comedy now.
Not a bad plan, but no broom today. Like to win the series, however.
Got a chance at that. Got a win today as the Sox will head off to New York to play the Yankees Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Day baseball Saturday and Sunday. Night game on Friday. Two and 1.
Well, the ability to go to a straight change in a fastball situation separates Lucas from a whole lot of pitchers around. You had to figure Rortvedt was sitting on a fastball. He didn't get it, so you take it. That's why it's got to be in the zone. And here's another change coming. There's a change coming. Jason?
The winds of change. Into the strike zone for a 2-2 count. Rortvedt, a Wisconsin native. He's from Verona, Wisconsin. Second round pick 2016.
When I hear you mention his name, you sound like Gabby on Blazing Saddles.
No, confounded. Rortvedt. 2-2 change down to a knee. And 2 gone.
Eight strikeouts for Lucas. He's been in command. That straight change has been outstanding today. This is the one he's been looking for a while. It hasn't been there. It is here today, and Rortvedt had 0 chance. 2 walks, 8 strikeouts, 2 hits. All in all, pretty good.
Change up to a rise. Ball 1. .71 total pitches. That's good news so far for Lucas. This pump to center, but that's why you shift. Garcia makes the catch. And a 1-2-3 inning for the second inning in a row. We're tied to the 6th. Sir, which is not sold at the swap meet, where we haven't been for a while. So you pick first from the master of swap, Chris Kampka. You want the person on the left or the right?
Well, many more games on the right. Better batting average, more home runs, many more stolen bases. Base percentage, slugging. Well, look, that forces you to take the right, so I'm going to take the guy on the left.
No, I wanted you to do it the opposite way.
Well, I know you did, but I don't want to fall into Kampka's trick bag.
So I've got the one on the right. That ball's tagged to right field, and a hit for Jake Lamb up the alleyway. Garlick had to go cut it off deep, and Lamb is headlong into second base with a leadoff double in a tie game in the 6th.
I love that kind of hustle because he realized that Garlick, 1, doesn't have a great arm. He doesn't have the normal right fielder's arm, and 2, he was going away from the throw. So with the play in front of him, you don't need Darryl Boston to tell him to just take off. And if you're not hustling to first base, you're not going to run this into a double. So you see how long Garlick had to get to the baseball, and it took a while. And here's the hustle. He's thinking 2 bases right now. He cuts first base very well, hits the inside of the bag, and then takes off and beats the play at second. That is a big effort.
Now Andrew Vaughn. Lead run at second base, and he grounds it to the left side. Lamb's on his way to third, and he's going to get there. Oh, Polanco didn't even look to third.
No, kind of surprising. You got some time to throw to first base, and normally you would at least look at third. He didn't. He took the sure out. But it moved Lamb to third base. That was a gamble because he had to go up and over the ground ball, and he was able to accomplish it.
How many runners the last couple of years have we seen thrown out at third on a play like that?
Well, look, if it's clearly in front of you, you will get thrown out. That time it was pretty much at him, and he went up and over the baseball. But kind of surprised Polanco didn't at least give a look to third, see if there was a chance.
Now Zach Collins wants himself a fly ball with the infield in. First pitch is out.
See where Polanco is. He's playing pretty much up the middle.
Flared foul. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Still no activity in either bullpen. Shoemaker has gotten to this point with only 75 pitches. Lucas has been very economical in his 5 innings of work.
Well, Twins bullpen's gotten beaten up the past couple of days. And at the end of that A's series as well. Upstairs, 2 balls and a strike.
Boy, this is one of the key at-bats of the ball game. Zach had a walk in the second inning. At the very least, you look for something up in the zone and try to hit it in the air.
Fouled off the catcher, Rortvedt, 2-2.
That was a good splitter, one of the better ones Shoemaker has thrown the last couple of innings, because the only thing you could have done with that was hit the ball on the ground, which is what you're trying to accomplish. If you're on the mound, you're thinking about throwing something a hitter can hit on the ground or swing and miss. And usually, if the splitter's your best pitch, it is a splitter.
He's thrown more four-seamers today than he normally does. We'll see where he goes on 2-2.
Oh, this has got to be a splitter.
You would imagine so. He's only gotten, Shoemaker, 5 swings and misses all game long. 4 have come on the splitter, 1 swing and miss on the fastball.
Well, that splitter just exploded out of his hand and went high and wide. He shook off to the splitter this time.
Lamb at third, 3-2. Outside and a walk. So Zach Collins has his second walk. And let's see what we have at the swap meet. So I ended up with the guy on the right.
Yes.
Let's see. Who'd we buy? Wow, Paul Molitor and Minnie Minoso. You did well for yourself.
Well, you got yourself a Hall of Famer on the right and a hopefully soon to be Hall of Famer on the left. Paul Molitor was a tough guy to deal with. Both of these guys could run. As you can see, Paul could really run. 504 stolen bases.
Minnie and Paul. Not Paul Molitor. Paul on the right, Minnie on the left.
There you go.
How about that? You got Minnie Minoso and Paul Molitor.
And you worked in the logo.
Oh.
I tell you what, that's creativity that knows no bounds.
Took us a while to put the puzzle together there. Sort of piecemeal.
But you were on it.
How about that? Kampka gets Minnie and Paul in. Here's Garcia. First pitch, shot down the left field side toward the corner it goes. This is fair, off the wall. Garcia brings home the lead run for the Sox. And it's 2-1 in Minneapolis.
Leary has hit the ball really well. And that was no exception. The only question is, Larnach wasn't going to get to it. The only question is, would it stay fair long enough? And that was answered. So that's a very long single, but the fact is, the one thing you don't want to do here, the one thing that's literally fatal to the cause, is getting doubled up and taken out of the inning. Larnach can't get to it, but he got to it quickly enough to get it back in and hold runners at first and second. But for the first time today, the Sox have the lead, courtesy of Leury Garcia.
Man, he has put together some really good at-bats over the series, and that last series against the Royals as well, as there's a strike to Danny Mendick, who had a sacrifice in the 5th. Jorge Alcala getting loose in the Twins bullpen.
17 runs batted in for Leury as he keeps adding on to what is getting to be a fairly impressive total for a guy that doesn't play every day.
Mendick serves a splitter foul. It's 2 strikes on Danny.
Well, there's all kinds of room on the right side if he can go that way. Sano is really far off the back. And then you've got Arise, who's playing pretty much up the middle. So the Twins, who don't shift a whole lot, do have a pretty substantial shift on Danny Mendick.
Checked his swing, and he went. Strike 3. 2 down in the 6th. The White Sox Charities Sox Car Raffle's back. Enter to win a Sox-themed Mazda CX-3 courtesy of Mazda of Orland Park, and also be entered to win a special May prize, an autographed baseball of your choice from the White Sox roster, subject to availability. Visit whitesox.com/SoxCar to purchase.
This becomes a very big at bat for Tim Anderson. You can add to this lead. Tim has been held in the infield 3 times, but he should have a very good idea what Shoemaker is going to try to do with him here.
Sinker first, ball 1.
Tim is 0 for his last 11. And normally you just don't hold him down that long. The outfield playing him straight away. However, they're off both lines. Larnach and Garlick are pretty much pinching towards center field.
Jammed him with a sinker. 1 ball, 1 strike. Sox are trying to win the series in Minnesota after sweeping the Twins at Guaranteed Rate Field last week. We saw Minnesota come back from 4 runs down, though, yesterday. Collins at second, Garcia at first. Tim trying to size up Shoemaker. That's a strike, a wayward slider.
Yeah, Tim knows he got a hanger. There's not much you can do with it. When you see the spin, you expect it to be moving away from you. When it backs up, you just take it and hope it's out of the zone. So that was a break for Shoemaker.
One, 2. Tim to short. This is Polanco. He's got to go to first, and that will do it. But the Sox do get a run and take a 2-1 lead. Bottom 6 next.
Speed action. And Lucas Giolito has been awfully good, especially with that straight change today. Got a lot of strikeouts with it. He's thrown it in good spots. And whether it's up, whether it's down, whether it's in, whether it's out, he's gotten the Twins to swing at the motion. And then just about the time they start looking at it, there's a fastball for you. Have a seat, Garlick.
Ball 1. 2, the second hitter for Minnesota. It is Jorge Polanco, who struck out twice. There's the line so far for Lucas. 30 changeups, 32 fastballs, 10 sliders coming into the inning.
This is going to be a difficult inning. And you certainly want to face Cruz with nobody on base. That's why this at bat by Polanco is a tough one.
Ripped a fastball inside, 3-0 for Polanco. So now you're down a run. Yeah, you want the base run. Are you swinging here if it's middle?
No, not with Cruz coming up next. You'd like to bring him to bat with somebody on.
Correct. Because you were right, you'll win 3-0 count the home game.
Ah, thank you. And Rocco Baldelli would like to keep on managing.
3-1. Change had him all pretzeled up, 3-2.
Boy, that one was a dandy. You would think another one would be forthcoming. 3-1. He's sitting on a fastball. He doesn't get it. It's a strike. And Polanco can do nothing with it.
Giolito 3-2. Oh, he missed up high with a changeup. He lost. Third walk for Giolito, and it's Nelson Cruz with a runner on.
Pop-up storms, chance for rain, and heat on the way. Know what to expect when you walk out the door tomorrow. Don't miss Brant Miller with Chicago's most accurate forecast tonight on NBC 5 News at 10.
Brant Miller's getting a lot of pub now.
He is. Well, he's accurate.
He's a legend in Chicago.
and then some.
Nelson Cruz. First pitch, ball one. Four years of 40 or more home runs for Nelson Cruz in his career, all after age 30. One and one off the changeup.
We're going to try to show you a grip on the bat that's most unusual because he's got a split grip, and you don't find a lot of guys that will do that. Normally you'd think it would take away the power, but by split grip I mean the hands are not together. And you see it there, they're not together, and again, this is really unusual. Especially for a guy with big power, and Cruz has all of that and maybe then some.
Fly ball to right field off the slider. It's Eaton to make the catch, and one down.
Big pitch in a big spot. You retire the guy that has the only 2 hits of the game against him.
Now Kepler, who's flied out to center and flied out to left. Well, for Lucas, who hasn't had his 2019-2020 command in this start, it's still a very good result to this point.
I think he's going to look back at this performance and hopefully it ends in a win. I know he's certainly hoping that, but he's going to realize he might have turned the corner with the stuff today.
To first, Vaughn stabs it. Gets to Tim. Double play on the return pass. Beautifully done by Andrew Vaughn. And the Sox, without Abreu, get a brilliant effort at first.
And it is a wonderful double play. Andrew Vaughn to his right. From one knee, he makes a perfect throw to second base, and then Tim, flat-footed, is able to get the throw off and get it back in plenty of time. We'll take a look at Kepler. He realizes he's not going to beat it. Tim knows he's got plenty of time, and it's out of the inning against 3 toughies as Alex Colomé comes in the ball game on for the 16th time. He lost his saver role, going 2 for 5 in save situations. He's walked 9 and 15 in the third. That's not particularly good. Left-handers have done the job against him. And he's going to face at least 2 this inning and possibly 3 with Jake Lamb hitting in the 4th spot this inning.
One note about that double play as well, you have Kepler, who's dealing with a tweaked hamstring. So he's not exactly going to be booking it out of the box. And Tim, realizing that, knew he had time.
Well, Kepler also, I mean, he means a lot to this team, so you want to keep him healthy enough to play center field and hit in the middle of your lineup. You don't want him extending to try to beat a play at first.
That's right. First pitch, low for Adam Eaton, who shows bunt after driving in a run on the infield in the 5th.
Shoemaker went 6 innings, did a really nice job for Baldelli's boys, gave up a couple of runs on 5 hits. He walked 4, only fanned 2, and he pitched out of some tough jams.
Oh, no catcher likes that at all.
Now, catchers love really good bunters. They really dislike bad bunters because when that ball is fouled off a bunt situation, almost without exception, it's going to get a piece of you.
Caught him in the bare hand, it looked like.
It's never good.
Got a piece of that, I think. So 1 and 2. 7th inning brought to you by the Illinois Department of Transportation. Cutter grounded to second. Arise. And now a word from the Home Depot.
Join Pro Extra to save time, save money, and get rewarded. Heavy hitters score with the Home Depot's Built for Pros loyalty program.
He's Steve Stone. I'm Jason Benetti. We thank you for joining us wherever you might be for Day Baseball, the only game in town. Nobody else is playing around the majors right now as the Sox have a 2.5 game lead in the division that is tied for the largest in all of baseball. Cardinals have that same lead in the NL Central right now, and those two teams will play in the next homestand at Guaranteed Rate Field.
Moncada's had quite a day. He's been on base 3 times. And with Colomé struggling with his control, you've got to lay off the low slider because the low slider dips out of the zone consistently.
Like that.
There's a low slider, and it's debatable whether that would have been called, but it becomes a moot point. You see the shift on, and Arise is way back there on the grass.
He got that one, and it's 1-2.
That was one that drifted low, but Jed Whitson has had a good day behind the plate. Gave it to Colomé.
Former Sox closer Alex Colomé. This is inside, another cutter.
There was kind of an interesting subtle shift, and it turned out the way you thought it would. In your shot, looking at Colomé, you could see Kepler moving to right center field. That normally means it's going to be something inside that Yuan can pull. And it turned out to be a slider inside. It's going to be another slider. Let's see if Kepler's in the right spot.
3-2. Yuan now has run the count full 3 times today.
He's been doing that a whole lot lately. And it's turned into a very high on base percentage.
Three and two. Struck him out. That's a good cutter from Colomé. Just the 3rd strikeout for Twins pitchers.
Friday, watch as the Sox head to the Big Apple to take a bite out of the Yankees. Ooh, how about that? Coverage starts at 5:30 with Chuck and Ozzy on White Sox pregame live, only on NBC Sports Chicago.
Last trip to New York a couple of years ago, we took a foray into the new Monument Park out there in center field.
It was very impressive. Well worth the time it takes to get there. And if you're lucky enough to be at the ballpark, it's a good trip to make.
You got to reminisce a little bit about Thurman Munson out there.
Got a chance to see that. And some other guys that you've heard a whole lot about your whole life, and you got to see something dedicated to them. A remembrance, and it's very impressive.
Then later on that night, Eloy Jimenez, well, that was the night before, I think. Eloy Jimenez hit his first career home run, and then we went out to see the monuments the next day.
Was that against Sabathia?
He pitched in the day game. Either Saturday or Sunday, I think. Today on Fuzzy Memories.
Well, assuming that Eloy stays healthy, he's going to have a whole lot of them to go with that one.
That was through the rain at Yankee Stadium. A drenching rain in the shadow of Times Square. One-two to Mercedes. Oh, Rortvedt.
Got a piece of him on the way by.
Been a long day for Mr. Rortvedt behind the plate.
He's not taking quite the beating that Garver took in the opener. We haven't seen Garver since. He cut one off the knee as well as getting generally beaten up. And he has not made an appearance since then.
One, two. Mercedes vaults it high in the air to center. Kepler coming on. Makes the play. It's a 1-2-3 inning in the 7th. Stretch time. Sox by a run. Bob Locurcio Auto Group, and it's been a low-scoring game. Nelson Cruz, the hardest hit ball of the ball game so far, just left of that jutout. It was a 1-0 Minnesota lead, but the Sox pieced together a run in the 5th. Adam Eaton, an RBI single, just beat it out, and then the Sox took the lead not long after.
That was a good play, but Adam beat it, and Leary Garcia slicing this one down the line produced a go-ahead run, and that's where we stand. As Leary's had quite a day, Billy Hamilton comes in to play center field. Jake Lamb will exit. Leary Garcia will move over to left.
Tony La Russa generally this year has made that move in the 7th inning, regardless of situation, as long as the team is up. It's the 7th inning, basically, he decides to make the defensive change. Now, what's interesting about this change is Billy Hamilton will be leading off the 8th. So Lamb is out after a double last time up. Miguel Sano takes a slider. Lucas just tickled the outside corner.
I think all things considered, Lucas has really worked hard on the slider between starts, and the slider's been a pretty good pitch today. He's got a much better feel for it than he's had in any of his previous starts. And if he's going to go back to being a big winner, and he intends on that, he needs to be able to throw that 3rd pitch.
You got a piece of that, I think.
He absolutely tipped it.
That should be 1 and 2, right?
Yes, and I don't know how you can appeal that, but he absolutely tipped it.
That ball was touched. You heard that get touched.
You could hear it. Zach Collins knows, and he's kind of surprised that it wasn't called by Whitson.
Wow. There was a second click there.
Yeah.
Listen in.
Yeah, you could hear it before it stuck in the glove, but the thing that makes a difference, and also Sano was heading to first base after ball 3. So not only should it have been a 1 and 2 count, but he wants the at-bat to end.
That's a bad miss.
Could turn out to be very costly, depending on this changeup.
3 and 2. Struck him out on the changeup. No matter. Lucas gets strikeout number 9.
Well, most of the difficulties this year he's had with the changeup have gone away today. This has been a masterful job so far. He gets Sano swinging over the top of it. That wasn't in the zone, but it didn't have to be because it identified as a strike as it's coming out of his hand and then dips away, which is exactly what you want to do if you design that pitch.
Lucas, a steely stare at the batter Larnach, who has not liked the look of the changeup today.
The one thing we know for sure after seeing him in 2 different series is that you get a fastball middle in, he can hit it hard. If you can establish your change or a slider or a curveball for that matter, he has some difficulties.
Larnach, 7 career hits. 3 of them have been doubles. A couple of those have been against the Sox.
Evan Marshall starting to loosen up.
And the world's slowest fan behind him.
You know, it's really interesting. Larnach just took a fastball right down the middle. He's a very young hitter, but you can't look for the straight change if you can't hit it. And taking a fastball down the middle puts you in a very big hole because you're going to see another change.
Oh, he's torpedoed by the changeup. 10 strikeouts for Giolito.
It was a dandy. It was set up by a fastball he took, and most veteran hitters don't do that unless they're really guessing. And it set up this. Beautiful pitch again. Dips out of the zone. This is vintage Lucas.
I mean, we told you off the top of the show, since 2019, Minnesota has 6 hits against his changeup. And half of those are gone with players who are no longer on Minnesota's roster.
And Cruz had a base hit off the changeup in the first inning. That's the only one they've hit today.
Astudillo, 0-2.
Lucas a little more on the fastball now than he had early in the ballgame, so he's feeling pretty good at the 95 pitch mark.
Yeah, his average fastball is above his season average right now for sure. Oh, 2. It's a slider he buried. Yeah, for Gio today on the fastball, over 94 on the average. For the year, he was around 93.5. High change, popped up, foul. I mean, he had to do a lot of work to get bat on ball there. That was a turtle in a tornado. Garlic on deck. Fastball right field. Adam Eaton is there to make the catch. Lucas Giolito, 7 innings of 1-run ball. The Sox need 6 outs for a series win.
First Midwest Bank, and it is Liuri, who's been red hot, taking it down the line. That's the difference in this ball game. Very happy man, and right now a team in the lead. We got a new pitcher, Caleb Thielbar. When we saw him in our ballpark, it was not pretty for him. However, all in all, 26 strikeouts and 15 in the third. That's very good. The ERA is, however, 5.25. You can see left-handers, most surprisingly, hitting .429 against him.
That includes Adam Eaton with an RBI double against Thielbar at Guaranteed Rate Field, as Lucas has thrown 7 to a 2-1 lead.
And he's pacing. Only question is, how much does he have left?
Ball 1 to Billy Hamilton, and it would be great to see Hamilton get on here as a leadoff man up a run in the 8th with his speed. Astudillo, if you use your hat, that's 3 bases. Got to use the glove, and he does. And 1 away.
That's one of the few that's actually stayed in play. Most of them drift out and into the seats, but not that one.
The fans are supposed to tip their cap to you, or the opponent is, not you to yourself, as the 8th inning is brought to you by the Illinois Lottery. It's if you throw your glove at the ball, it's 3 bases.
Or use your equipment.
I think it's the hat, too.
If a catcher uses his mask.
Yep. 1 strike to Andrew Vaughn. I saw it in AAA as a thrown glove, but I believe it's the same for any.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Andrew Vaughn smokes this ball foul. Pigtail. You don't see pigtails very often.
Day game.
Day game pigtails?
Yeah.
They're jaunty in the afternoon. 0-2, Thielbar to Vaughn. Another foul ball. Andrew Vaughn has been scorching the baseball. His last 14 hits. Average exit velocity is ridiculous at 101.
Unexpected batting average at 101. Only 723. That's not bad. He would like to pick out a breaking ball and drive it, because normally from Thielbar it's going to be middle in.
Check swing. He did go. Andrew doesn't think so.
Boy, we're seeing a lot of check swings called strikes today. Here's that breaking ball, but this is down in the dirt. John Lipka says that he did not check it up. Could have gone either way. It went Thielbar's way.
Zach Collins going to hit lefty-lefty against Thielbar in the 8th. Grandal getting the day off. And strike one to Zach. Slider 0-2. Now Minnesota's going to have 8, 9, and 1 coming up in the 8th, which means that the 9th inning could be highly treacherous, or the 8th itself could be, with Polanco, Cruz, and Kepler to follow those 3 in the 8th. And strike 3. Thielbar gets himself a 1-2-3 8th, and we'll go bottom 8, 2-1.
Since 1945, Marquette Bank has worked to improve the lives of neighbors, families, and business owners. They're a modern neighborhood bank with online banking, mobile banking, and digital home financing. Better than that, they're a bank that cares about your success in our communities. Discover neighborhood banking that feels good at emarquettebank.com.
Lucas Giolito back out for the 8th inning, and his first pitch is fouled away. What do you think about this, Steve?
I like it because I think they consulted with Lucas and said, what do you have left at the 99 pitch mark? I don't think they're going to let him get in trouble, but Garlick has fanned twice against him. And it's going to be 3 times with a changeup. Rortvedt is next. The question is, will he hit for himself or will they go to the bench? And then you go to the top. You would love to have 2 outs before you get to the Arise, Polanco, Cruz aspect of this batting order.
On 0-2 for Garlick. It's a fastball away.
That's the one thing that Lucas has not had today, and it's a very small potatoes in the grand scheme of things. A couple of times when he's tried to throw a high fastball by design, he hasn't been able to get it upstairs. But all in all, he's been really good. We're going to see a slider here. Let's see if he can get it where he wants to.
2-2. Check swing. He went.
Yes, he did.
Strike 3. Strikeout number 11 for Giolito today.
Josh Donaldson's going to come on. We'll watch the 11th. Went a bridge too far. 3 at-bats, 3 strikeouts.
So Rocco Baldelli yesterday pinch hit Nelson Cruz in the 9th spot in a big moment. Sox got him out. So Giolito, off his season high in strikeouts, will face Donaldson, the most substantial bat on the Minnesota bench today. A sweep through for strike 1.
That's a real good slider from Lucas, and all that work between starts has really helped on that pitch.
So Rortvedt finishes 0 for 2 with one of those 11 strikeouts. The only 2 hits for the Twins are Nelson Cruz. One and two.
Donaldson is 1 for 7 lifetime against Lucas. He's a very good fastball hitter. He just had his opportunity and fouled it back. You wouldn't expect another one. You would expect another one of those sliders that made him look so very bad on the first pitch.
Fouled a change off his foot, and he's going to go.
Fortunately,
dancing.
Speed is not a big part of his game.
Not anymore. Like the deleted scenes from Singing in the Rain.
Yeah, hitters don't like this very much. It's a good changeup. He tries to get out ahead of it, and right off the instep. Maybe gets a piece of the ankle. Oh, yeah.
Two and two. 108 pitches for Giolito today.
Evan Marshall continues to throw in the bullpen.
Tim short. 2 down. Check into the studio, see what's coming up on White Sox Postgame Live presented by Subaru. Frank Thomas, Ozzie Guillen, and Chuck Garfien. Gentlemen, thank you very much. Luis Arise to Tim Snowcone for your Wednesday afternoon. 2-1 Sox going to the ninth. And the Sox are up 2-1. Hey, experience a game this season from the Goose Island located in right field at Guaranteed Rate Field. It features a variety of seating options, easy access to the Crab Cave, and more. It's available for group outings as well. For more information, call or text 312-674-1000 or visit whitesox.com/island.
A new pitcher in the ball game. Jorge Alcala was supposed to come in last night in the 10th inning. Unfortunately, the game never got there. So he's come in today on for the 16th time, ERA of 4.11. 13 strikeouts, 5 walks. You can see right-handers have not done much with him. He's got a pretty good fastball. And we'll see how this one works out as red hot Leury Garcia steps up to take his chances. He's 2 for 3 today, and he is the man who drove in the go-ahead run.
RBI single to left for Garcia, got that home, and a first pitch swing out to center. And Kepler drifting away for Larnach.
Well, you can see with Kepler, he still is hobbling on that leg. Last thing he really needs is instant acceleration, because that probably puts him on a shelf for a while. So he's not going to be able to cover the alleys like he normally does. It's very difficult to play this game under the best of circumstances. It's much more difficult to play it if you're kind of dinged up.
This is an old-fashioned getaway day, Steve. This is like the last day of the minor league baseball season when everybody swings at the first pitch.
That would be just fine in the bottom of the 9th inning, because you're dealing with Polanco, Cruz, Kepler, and if anybody gets on Sano, and you would expect they're going to face Liam Hendricks. What a job today by Lucas Giolito. If you're looking for a big bounce back, this was it. Because this is still a pretty decent offense. I know who they're missing, but I know also who they have in this lineup. And Lucas had just everything going for him today.
That's a cold strike. It's 2-1 for Danny Mendick, who's 0 for 2. What did you like most from Giolito today?
He established his slider early, and knowing that he has a devastating straight change, it gives hitters the thought that there's 3 pitches you have to be concerned with. If he's not hitting his slider, then you can narrow it down to 2 pitches. And so he was able to spot his fastball. He wanted that 8th inning. That's one of the things I really liked, because he could have easily said, look, I'm a little bit gassed. I just don't have it. He didn't.
Donaldson into the ballgame, throws out Mendick. Time now for a message for Powering Chicago.
Do you have electrical work you need done at your home or business? Visit poweringchicago.com and click the Find a Contractor button. On time, on budget, done the right way every time. Powering Chicago, IBEW Local 134, NECA, Chicago.
Lucas Giolito, 8 innings today. The Sox are up 2-1. Tim Anderson with 2 out, bases clear in this 9th on a ground ball to short. Polanco and rapid fire. The Twins get a 1-2-3 ninth. Sox will try to close out a series win when we come back. Fun day at the ballpark so far, and a 2-1 lead for the Sox. Lucas Giolito's gone 8 innings, and we remind you to test your luck in the Queen of Hearts raffle benefiting White Sox charities. In addition to weekly prizes, one lucky fan will win 50% of the total progressive jackpot, which is over $135,000. To purchase Queen of Hearts raffle tickets, go to whitesox.com/Queen of Hearts.
Looking at the numbers for Lucas Giolito, they don't tell the whole story, but they're very impressive. 8 innings with a run on 2 hits, 3 walks, and 11 strikeouts. And he turns it over to Liam Hendriks, who's looking for his 9th save in his 11th opportunity. 26 strikeouts, only 2 walks. He comes on to try to nail it down, to try to help the Sox win the series 2 of 3. But it's not going to be easy, because this is the big part of the order. Polanco, Cruz, Kepler, if anybody gets on Sano.
Here's Polanco in short time against Hendriks.
And that one hit was a line drive rocket that ended the ball game last night.
Liam comes in with a clean inning here in the 9th, and the first pitch a strike to Polanco.
They had no contact so far for him. Lucas fanned him a couple times, walked him once.
Nasty slider. 0-2.
That's the best slider he's thrown in quite some time. When all closers are asked what is the greatest attribute you can have as a closer, they will tell you a short memory.
Right back at it, Dayside today, and the 0-2 strikes him out. Back shoe slider for out number 1.
Well, last night it was a high fastball that ended it. Today it's a couple of sliders that ended in a different way. 2 biting sliders, the second of which was unhittable. The first of which was a strike and still not hittable. And Polanco is taken down on 3 pitches.
One out, Nelson Cruz. High in the air, left-hand side. Tim will leave it to Garcia, who makes the catch.
Tim couldn't see it, and
Nope.
It's a really good thing that Leary could. He's saying, hey, Tim, I saw this one. No problem. I got you, pal. Tim went over and then looked up in the air. He's going, I got no idea where this is. I hope somebody's around.
I'm going to just say, when Tim looked like that, I didn't know that Leary had seen it either.
Oh, yeah, I was looking at Leary going, this one's in the bank.
I was hoping so,
Yeah.
but somebody's got to see the thing, and now Tim's going to go back to shortstop and forget it ever happened.
Right. High sky. All right.
Saying hello to the WNBA team. Very nice of you. 2 down for Kepler. Oh, my goodness.
This is the best slider that Liam has had. He's thrown 3.
He
None
looks
of which-
rather irritated that last night happened.
Well,
Steve.
none of which have hung around in the zone too long.
I don't think Liam Hendricks sleeps very well after he gives up a game.
Nope. Again, short memory. What happened yesterday is irrelevant. What's going to happen tomorrow doesn't count. You're going pitch to pitch. That's it.
2 down, base is clear. Hendricks to Kepler. Swing and a miss, another dazzling slider.
Well, that time, Zach Collins wanted a fastball away, and Liam is feeling it with the slider. He shook to the slider and threw it in a great spot again. Dylan Cease, Lucas Giolito.
Hoping to enjoy strike 3, and now Hendricks with better footing tonight.
Much better.
His spikes were in quite the quagmire last night.
It's not easy to pitch when you have a very wet mound. Today, the weather has cooperated. Let's see if Kepler will cooperate on an elevated inside fastball up.
1-2 coming. Elevated is correct.
Yeah, it was really elevated.
If you've been inside the stadium, you had that as well, but barely.
It does, however, set up that slider inside. I don't think it was meant to do that, but that's what it sets up. But
Maybe it's a long con.
We're not going to see it.
2-2. He struck him out. Sox win the series, 8 innings from Gio and a 2-1 final score.
Well, Liam Hendricks did exactly what Liam Hendricks does. He comes in, the toughest part of the order goes 1, 2, 3. Gives you the Conor McGregor strut, which is always good. But what a ball game it was. And the best thing to come out of it, besides the win and to win the series, is Lucas Giolito rediscovered whatever it was that he was missing. He was just brilliant today in the 11 strikeout performance over 8 innings. Gave him just 2 hits, both of them to Nelson Cruz, both coming in the first and third innings. And after that, it was relatively spotless. Let's take a look at the upcoming schedule presented by Volkswagen, and it's a well-deserved day off tomorrow. And then the Yankees provide the opposition in New York before coming home. St. Louis and Baltimore await, and bear in mind, we're going to 60% in attendance. If you want to see this team is really exciting, and with all of the losses due to injuries, these guys keep playing tough, winning baseball. So enjoy it, come and see us, and we'll look forward to it, and enjoy your off day.
Thank you, you too. By the way, that looked a lot like Lucas's game in Minnesota a couple years ago.
There's no question. He shut him out.
Yep.
He shut him out there. He shut out Houston in Houston, the only pitcher to do it in the same season. But he was brilliant, and, congratulations to Lucas.
He'll join us on the post-game report. For now, we say farewell. For our entire crew, our producer Chris Withers, our director Andrew Blaustein, our associate producer Dave Ross, our tech manager Mark Harper, our entire wonderful crew. Joe Grube, our stage manager. He's Steve, I'm Jason. Now to the studio, Chuck, Ozzie, Frank, take it away.